Hey, greetings everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. It's Monday morning as I record this and upload it. My thoughts on the Beatles announcement for the Red and Blue album release on November 10th. Put my Beatles hat on. Let's talk. So, get the details out of the way here. 75 tracks, 36 new stereo remixes. Some of them are remixed from 2018, 19, 20, 21, and then 36 of the tracks have remixes. You can buy a 4 CD version, you can buy two CD versions, you can buy 3 LP edition, 6 LP edition, 4 CD box set. The Blue album is going to include the song Now and Then, which is a song a demo that John had from the 70s. Same situation as Free as a Bird and Real Love. The Beatles were working on it, or the Threedles were working on it during the anthology sessions. George, for some reason, wasn't too keen on it, they're saying. That could mean anything. That could mean he was just because I think George was dragged into that anthology thing. I mean, he really wasn't into it that much from what I read and hear. So he may have just been bored and said, we did 2 songs, I'm done. Or he didn't particularly like that track, or how it was progressing. So it doesn't say, it just says keen, not keen. What am I interested in? I am mostly interested in hearing Now and Then. I'm calling this video Beatles Red and White albums, Cash Grab or Grail. So let's get into that. So here's the way I look at it. I've never owned these albums. I think growing up when the Beatles albums were coming out, I think you bought all the albums as they were released. We had the complete set of Beatle albums. So in 1970 whatever, when they released these, I didn't need them. I had all the Beatles albums. I think people who were a few years younger than me bought them. I'd say people who, just were, I was 11 in 1964, so I think people who were 11, say in 1970, probably bought the Red and White albums, and that's their introduction to the Beatles. Now, first of all, I'm not a big comp guy. I have greatest hits albums, and some of them I listen to, and a lot I don't. Like, if it's a band that I consider an album band, like the Beatles, especially with Pepper and Revolver and the Rubber Soul, I think you got to listen to those whole albums. And I don't like the songs. Like, I don't want to hear A Little Help from My Friends taken out of context with Sgt. Pepper. That whole album needs to be listened to as one complete album. It's not musically not a concept album. It was a concept album in the terms of the Beatles wanting to pretend they were the Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. But the songs flow together in a certain way. You can't take them out of context. So I don't want to hear a lot of these songs taken out and just put on a comp. It's just not the way I hear these songs. So right away, I'm not a fan of it. Now, what I am interested in is what will turn this into a Grail is the remixes. When the Beatles recorded their albums, they were meant to come out in mono. That's the way the Beatles intended them. That's the way the Beatles worked on them. As soon as that work was completed, they were out of the studio. It was up to George Martin and whoever else was working in the studio at the time to come up with a stereo version. The stereo versions they came up with, for the most part, were just horrid. They're panned hard right, hard left. Like, you ever noticed, if you ever take your balance, turn it to one side, you can actually eliminate like the guitars or eliminate the vocals. It's like everything's just panned so hard. Now with the remixes, they're using this new fangled system. I think it's called MAL, M-A-L or something. I don't know what it stands for. The same process they used to enhance the Peter Jackson documentary Get Back, which was pretty darn good. So I'm hoping these stereo remixes are, so when you're sitting there listening to your stereo system, maybe like Ringo's drums are right center, and then you can kind of, if you close your eyes, you can see Paul just off to the side of Ringo, and then John and George kind of, everything should just be panned out just perfectly. There shouldn't be any, like, all the guitars in one, all the vocals in the other. Let's not do that. If they do that properly, and I can close my eyes and almost visualize the Beatles in my living room, then this is a Grail. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is everybody say, this song's on it and that song's on it. Again, it's a comp. Does it really matter what songs are on it? Who cares if She Loves You's on there or if I Fell's on it? It doesn't matter. It's a comp. You have all these songs on other albums. The only thing that's important here in these sets, unless you grew up with these albums and they have a special place in your heart, which they don't for me, is the quality of the remix. How did they do it? How does it come out? That's it. I'm not going to buy it until I see someone like Mazzy or someone else that I totally respect their opinion on these things and that has a nice system. I want to hear what they're saying before I buy it. And I will buy the single, the Now and Then single. Definitely a must buy for me. Yeah, so let's just wait and see. I'm anxious to hear it, but hey, it's pretty exciting for a Beatles fan to kind of wait. The anticipation is pretty big here. So let's see. Give me your thoughts, whether you're going to buy it or not, excitement level. Everyone have a great day. Take care.